Now, let me go back through this here again. After the beheading of John the Baptist, the symbol changed from the original three because John the Baptist was gone. St. Matthew chapter 17, I believe it was, God showed himself up on the mountain with talking to Elijah and Moses. And they knew that was the spirit of John the Baptist who had was beheaded. And God, a cloud came over them and said to them, the two witnesses that he sent out there, the two of his disciples, and said, "This is my beloved son, hear him." The Spirit of God showed above him and told them to hear Jesus Christ. And Jesus was there with Elijah, which the spirit of John the Baptist had came back, and the spirit of Moses. And Jesus was the number one sacrifice, which was symbolized by this. I believe it's in St. Matthew chapter 21. I'm trying to make sure of this here. Jesus told them to get him an ass and a coat of wool, and he took and rode them into Jerusalem. These are the symbols. I'm just trying to show you these are the symbols because he took and he showed you the symbols of the Antichrist. So once he showed to show you where we are. This is the reason I got to show you these things, because it seems to happen today. This creature is going to try to empty this earth, and he told me to speak these words to you to let the people know that there have been a prophet among them. That's what God told me to do. I want to make sure. I'm just checking this here out, make sure that okay, it is 21. The same Matthew chapter 21, he told him to get an ass and an ass coat to fold. That was father. And this is when he came in to let you know the burden beast this is a burden beast. But the coat is an ass coat. He's not a burden beast because he's the fold of an ass. But the burden beast, Jesus rode the burden beast to show that he was the one bearing the burden for the world. Before his crucifixion, he knew that these symbols had to be here. He knew this here. And then, when he went to that, this is beyond this point here. Then, when Jesus was crucified, John the Baptist was beheaded, he took me to the cross because I was the wings covering the feet, as it was noticed here. I couldn't be born because Jesus had to be the second to die. So that led me into having on to Jesus, which symbolized by this. So Jesus used the pigeon and the dove, or two pigeons, connected one to the other because we were the same body. We had to go back to heaven again. Then I had to come at my appointed time and be born. And when I come and be born, unto my mother and father in the United States of the world, then it would become the fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 6, 4-13, where I was addicted to cocaine and I saw what the United States government was doing to our people. They was using cocaine and drugs to capture the mind and cause our people to serve other God through secrecy. They were destroying us. The drug dealers is not here used to sell drugs to make money, even though they make money. They are used with a much sinister mindset instead. Because Antichrist has been working here all the time. He's not a man that feeds us day by day. He's not a man that take few fish and feed 5,000. He's a man that's using his knowledge and technology as a matter of destruction to destroy the human race, which was ordained by God from the foundation of the earth. Now, we move this chart down. This was the part that showed you where my house was firebombed at 1002 West Barricue, 1997, 1st January. My house firebombed between the doorposts, not through the window, through the doorpost. They tried to burn me up because of who I was and how they did. They didn't. What they was trying to do. So God gave this here, telling you who I was and how I came to be. This concludes this chart. This is the chart that God showed us. Got three individuals: John the Baptist, which was the cherubim on one end of the mercy seat, which came all the way from the foundation of the world, and from that end, and from this end. And Jesus was the voice heard in the mirror. Now, let me show you the chart of Antichrist. That's the chart of the godly. Because this has something to do with Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Now, this is Antichrist. World Trade Center is Antichrist. You know, and that's asking Jesus, and who do they pay tithe to? Do the man tax his peoples, or do he tax everybody? And they said do they tax strangers? They tax strangers. Well, this man is not in the book of life because I showed you where he came from. He is a man having diluted pigmentation. God sent three symbols of him just like he did himself. This is the children of Antichrist. Came through Alexander the Great, George W. Bush, and the CIA. Alexander the Great couldn't destroy the world because he didn't have the technology to create weapons of fire. But as these people went on the knowledge, God revealed to these people, he told them he's going to be a lion tongue. He's going to give them the refuge and the mindset of these people. They created weapons of fire. Nuclear weapons. Enticed the world with their technology. Men's is driving up and down the road in automobiles that runs off a fear. The heartbeats of these vehicles runs and lives by the way of fear. Not like it was when Alexander the Great came, not like it was when Jesus Christ came, and not like it was when John the Baptist came. The fear, the technology hadn't reached that far, but Jesus had spoke of it. God had spoke of the technology. He said in Habakkuk they will fly like eagles hastening. You can't get a better book than the Bible. You can't buy a better book than the Bible. He told you that that man would fly. So how is it that a man can lie to you and tell you technology have given him this and technology have given him that, and we need to learn more and more? He don't learn no more than God give him. He don't gain no more than God give him. But as he go with his own hand and he studied the way of life through the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he makes fools of himself. Because God spoke of these things